Well, it turned out to be a little bit of a gloomy day here at Northfield. Now, I'm not going to spend much time at Northfield, in the Northfield area today. Ollie has a baseball tournament at, I think it's Westlake. I'm not positive, though. I have to go to the Meadows later on this afternoon. Amy's away for the afternoon also. So a lot going on this morning. I was in the barn this morning. Had some horses I wanted to train. 5 or 6 horses. Didn't do anything wrong. Just wanted a little check-in. Make sure everything was all right. We had some horses that did not train today. Go Strong Hanover just had the tiniest bit of swelling still in that incision site where he was castrated. Had a slight temperature, 101.1 yesterday afternoon and this morning. So it just made no sense. Why would you even try and train? Looking for trouble. So he was off today. Had to know just the remnants of that quarter crack. You guys saw that on the video the other day. I know when you see a horse out there and he's sort of like, oh my God, this horse looks lame, but it's something minor. But it's much like, you know, as I said, you cut your fingernail too short. It's only a tiny fingernail, but it hurts like a bugger. And it's the same with horses. So a little quarter crack, we're getting cleaned up. I jogged him very lightly yesterday and he was good. So I suspect he'll be better today, but not quite where we'd like him to train. So he had the day off. Hanger 1. I did train him the other day. That foot is still killing him. There was quite a bit of pain the day after we x-rayed him. There was nothing found there. It was 100%. I wish I could take pictures and show you so you have the whole wall. He lost we'd take a portion of that wall off where it was festering quite a bit. There was a wall separation under there. It was nasty. And there was something smaller on the other side also. So a horse that has never really had any foot issues. Certainly a little sore on that left front foot. Now, I did get a training mile into him last week. I suspect he's not going to be back jogging. Dr. Latessa said to put him in the aquatherapy place, so the water walker. Maybe starting Monday through Thursday, then we can start jogging him light if he sounds up again. This shouldn't be something ongoing, but you can't half measure it right now. It has to be done right. I tried to the other day. We were going to patch and go till we got all cleaned up, much like you would a normal quarter crack or something of that nature. This is substantially more. We're not talking anything long term. This won't resurface down the road. It won't cause problems down the road, but it is something we have to nip in the bud right now. So we're in the midst of doing that. What else do we have? In New York, his knees were a little puffy yesterday. We blistered them. I guess it kind of answered my question about having him ready for some sort of baby race that they have, some sort of fairs that they start in Kentucky. I was toying with the idea of just getting him some experience. With respect to the gate and tracks and whatnot, but that was short-lived. We're going to back off with him, blister him for the weekend, jog him up, train him slow on Wednesday, and then continue on. There's no real time needed off. We just want to, again, nip this. Another thing we want to nip in the bud before it ever turns into something we don't want to see. Jailbird jog, same type of thing. We had shocked her knees 2 weeks ago. She trained great the other day. That break was not lameness, was not anything. It was not her fault. I had to check her quick. She hit the bike and made a break. Nothing more to talk about. She'll train again on Wednesday, but with such a hard training mile on Wednesday, making the break, I just said, you know what, just give her the weekend just to go easy. She's always been not what I would call a picky eater, but not a ferocious eater by any stretch of the imagination. She doesn't dive right in all the time, and as you can imagine, after a training mile, she was a little peckish, a little picky with her food. So the weekend just to go easy isn't going to hurt her. She jogged. All these horses jogged today. They just did not train. Neuromancer's being castrated. I've given him all the time. You know, I was his biggest advocate. We're not castrating because he's too stutty, but he is kind of rude, and his ignorance was on display the other day, and you just can't have it. I can't have it this time of year. He can't learn and be ignorant at the same time. So we are going to castrate him. Perfect thought. Found out what it was. So coming out of the bath rack the other day, just took a couple little funny steps left front. Took her shoe off, pulled to stop. She was fine the next day. I jogged her. She was fine. I could see how she was on the left line a little biting that left line, jogging and training. Always has. There was nothing ever found. A little bit of sesamoiditis, a little roughness on 3 of her 4 sesamoids. I'd say it's indicative of the breed. I wouldn't worry too much about it, but we do have to put a little blister on her for the weekend. And then I bought some special ice boots. Maybe in the mornings we'll ice her just to make sure there's no residual swelling in there and that it's cooled off as we move forward. Again, she is still the queen of the castle. She is our best horse, and I want to make sure for her to move forward with the confidence she needs to do so in a stake format, we're going to need her to be on the top of her game. And to do that, we're going to have to make sure she is physically 100%. So this isn't something, this was more of, I see what it could be, and I know exactly how we're going to fix that, more than, we got to be careful here. We're not two very, very different things. And then Steph's Hope again. She was fine, but really picky for 2 days after her training. This is a filly. Her knees were really sore. We did do some work on her, which I don't like to do this time of year, but we did do some work on her 3-4 weeks back, and it worked immediately. She was perfect. She was sound. She trained great the other day. But when I see a filly that's normally a pretty decent eater come off her feet a little bit after training, only 2 things can cause that: a little bit of sickness, which I don't see, and a little bit of residual soreness, a little stress that you don't want to see. So moving forward, just an easy weekend for her. I'll train her slow Wednesday. We will have some horses that will go behind the gate. I don't think we need to video it again. We do have some horses that will go behind the gate again, but nothing more than experience for them next Wednesday as we continue to get our horses closer to the races. So those are the horses that we're not training today. Every other horse trained in 2:35. I have my own list of horses that I wanted to go in. Blue Rare I went with. She was great. Leland Hanover I thought was fantastic this morning. I scooted him 32 seconds on the end of it. Now I didn't want any horses blasting on the end of it today, but when it came to Leland Hanover in particular, this horse that made a break the other day on Justin, I just want to see what was going on. I saw no issues with Leland Hanover today. He was all business, and I come like 31-4 on the jog card, bit in his mouth, pacing hard through the wire. You certainly couldn't have asked him to do anything any better today than he did. So I was again happy with Leland Hanover. And more importantly, I trained these horses by themselves. So if you got any horses that were a little cranky, a little sour, a little stupid, we'll talk about one of them in a minute, or maybe prone to pulling up or not doing the work, you're going to see it on the training trips by themselves. I saw none of that today from any of the horses I went with. Well, we'll talk about Bobby in a minute. Love Sensation was good also. A little firm in the mouth when she went out. Seems to be a walnut trait, the walnuts I've seen anyway. In the mile, she was good again. She's another one made a break. I stretched her in the last turn and down the lane. 33 seconds on the end of it in the jog cart. Never put a step into the turns. I suspect what you need to do with her is have her on her toes, especially in the last turn, but going into the turns. You can't just sit on her and let her kind of dawdle. And that's the kind of horse she strikes me as. And I put her in gear getting into the last turn. She never put one step in. So I can't really say what happened the other day. Eric's gone with her in the race bike in a race, a trip setting. Today was just more of a relaxed, by herself kind of scene. So it's hard to compare. I'm certainly not saying this is how you do it and this is what Eric did wrong. No. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that today by herself, I had no problem with her trotting through any turn. You know, when Eric told me she made a break, and then, you know, she did hit the bike, but made a break the week before. I'm thinking to myself, gotta get this under control. I was thinking hobbles, but after today, there's certainly no need for that. She was very good. I watched Zena Kemp go before I left. We're still going to be 20 minutes late for the warm-ups for Ollie's game. I didn't realize it was a 40-minute drive. I thought it was much, much closer. So I had to leave. And I said, hey, Eric, can you go with Zena? She looked great to me. A little rolly in the turns, but again, I know exactly what happened. A little tender on her feet. And Enos got maybe a little liberal with the shoeing gear the other day. The day before she trained, she galloped in the warm-up multiple times. And as I said, Amy was kind of beside herself. And then I said, you know what? I'm sure she'll be fine. Last trip behind the gate. And like all good horses, she saw the gate, came to life, no issues issues whatsoever. Today she was a million times better. A little rolly, I saw her in the turn going by me, but again, we're in that kind of medium speed where they're switching leads and they're switching speeds, and you can see them make breaks sometimes. And Zena was, she looked very content, very comfortable to me. A little rolly in that turn, but it didn't look like Eric had any problem with her. I thought she looked very good. Now, the last one I went with was Bobby. Now, Bobby, I've come to the conclusion, I've filed her under very beautiful filly, very sweet filly, but not a real high IQ, not a very smart horse. There's nothing wrong with that. I preface, every time I say that about a horse, I want everybody to understand my favorite horse of all time was the dumbest horse ever born to this planet. I'm certain of it. There's no two ways about it in the big friend. And I don't mind stupid horses. You just have to understand that moving forward. This is why I know this. So I go my mile by myself. But when we train about a mile and a half, I'll score them down, a lot of them, just to make sure they're feeling good. And I'll score them down sometimes quite hard. So Bobby went to start her mile, and she went to take off out of there because she thought we were scoring down. So as we started in the backstretch, I got her under control. Again, when I score them down, we pull up, walk for a second, and then start your mile and a half. And she's going to pull up. She thinks that that's not her fault. It's not the end of the world. But I ask her to continue on. We get to the head of stretch again. She goes to take off again. Settle her down. Get through the turn. She's going to pull up again. She's completely confused. She has no idea what's going on. But is not focused on this is your job. Remember, I've showed you like a million times how to train. You know what you're supposed to do. Stay down on the inside. Go the mile until I ask you to pull up. But she's completely flustered. She's doing her work well. We changed her shoes. She's trotting good. I let her scoot on the end of it, which kind of goes against what I said. She made a break, but it was a out of your mind break. It wasn't a mechanical break. And then ended up finishing her upper mile and won a mile in 2:8. So not an easy training for her on Wednesday. I didn't really want to bust her up today. I let her trot down the lane, pulled her up, and walked her off. I was happy with her, but going over what just took place in my mind and how she just could not grasp what we were trying to accomplish today, it just strengthens my opinion of her. Beautiful filly, just not very smart filly. But that's just fall under. Stupid horses are fun. You just have to continue to show them all the time. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. I say that to you guys. But when it comes, the lower the IQ, the more you have to be very clear about the rinse and repeat part. And there's nothing wrong with that. So Bobby trained well today, looked sound to me, looked comfortable today. But again, I'm almost positive that our girl Bobby is not the sharpest knife in the drawer. But there's nothing wrong. That is not an indication of what she can do on the track by any stretch of the imagination. So just so everybody knows that moving forward. Now, yesterday, you had to listen to what went on today to figure out what went on yesterday. We had three horses race yesterday. In Pennsylvania and Ohio. An odd day. I had a lot going on at the barn, and initially I thought that his tournament started today. It did not, so I did not make it over to go with Manhattan Money, but didn't need me. Got away, kind of delayed leaving, dropped him in the 4-hole, kind of rammed him up in behind people in the last turn. Showed a lot of intelligence, Manhattan Money, to be driven the way he did. And that's not to say he didn't drive great. He drove him perfect. Kind of get out down the lane and was kind of lumbering towards the lead at the wire, which we want to see. We want to see him advancing. And although he didn't get up for second, he raced very, very well. Now, I didn't see the final time. It had to be 55-3, 55-4 for Manhattan Money. So again, has made his way into that Stallion Series speed type caliber horse. So good job by Manhattan Money. Great job by Ronnie Wren this week with our horses. Looks like money. I made it to Scioto, and they were running the race off quick, which is the opposite of what they usually do. I was shocked. I was like, what is going on here? Why are we, usually this place drags their feet, drags them slow. Big storm is on its way. So I got there in time to warm up. Looks like money. He seemed pretty content. I wanted to get off the car good, wanted to get away close, but at the same time, I'm like 6-1, 5-1, and the horses from the outside are favorites, which they're supposed to be. You got Miles Woolham's good trotter, No Nap Nash, and you have Burke's horse, the point of something. Well, it's starting to rain, but we get all the way out here and this game is canceled. I'm going to be very, well, whatever. It is what it is. So Miles Woolham's horse, and then we also had Point. I can't remember his name. Point of Honor. I think is his name. Point of Honor. Is that right? Ron Burke's horse. They both show 51 their last start. Now the track is fast, and that was pretty evident last night. I think if I come first in, I'm third. At the time, I wanted to kind of take my time. I heard the horse coming first over, but I didn't want to just wheel him out and go. I was kind of trying, just kind of edge my way out so that I got going as we got into the last turn, not halfway down the backstretch. But Trevor Smith was coming full bore. I moved over. I'm like, it's going to be interference if I take my time now. So I had to go back to the inside. I slid out on his back, which seemed fine. Little rolly in the last turn. Did hobbles need to be a hole tighter? Maybe. He doesn't like them tight, though. Now listen, it could have just been him accelerating in the last turn also. Looks like money raced great. 52-2, I think. 27-4 on the end of it. I thought the horse raced well. Now, one thing I'm certain is if I get the same type of trip, get him underway earlier, leave a little harder with him, put him in a spot to win, maybe quarter pole him at one of those horses, I think it looks like money is going to be one of the better horses in there also. I think he's a player in that division. Having said that, I would much rather race him at the Meadows than Scioto. So I think what we're going to do for Looks Like Money is to leave him down there with Stacy for the next couple of days, enter him in the Meadows. If he gets into the Meadows, ship him back to the Meadows. If he doesn't, then we'll leave him down there to race in Scioto. I believe that will be the plan moving forward for Looks Like Money. It makes the most sense to me. Why would we worry about getting him somewhere right now? We don't know where he's going to be next week. So that's the plan with Looks Like Money. We will leave him down there for a couple of days, enter him at the Meadows. If he doesn't get in, then we'll enter him at Scioto. And if there's going to be a conflict between him in the future, Yo Mister, who we'll talk about in a minute, Spitfire Overseas, who's racing today, then fine, we'll address that on a week-by-week basis. But we have enough racetracks, enough opens, and enough horses that we should have an open trotter at each venue all summer long. Now, that leaves Northfield. I'd rather not race Looks Like Money at Northfield, but if we had to, I suppose I could. It would be on a part-time basis. I don't really want to race him full-time there. That's not to say that Northfield's track is bad. It's not great. It's not bad, but it's every half-mile track. I'd rather not race Looks Like Money on a half-mile track. So, raced good, finished good. I think if I had to come first over in hindsight, I'm third, but I just did not want to be first over that early in the mile with Looks Like Money into the two favorites that just showed 51. So he was advancing at the finish, finished his mile up good, and raced very good. Happy with the way he raced. Yo Mister, the storm did come. It blew through. I woke up this morning and I was like mad that I didn't charge my iPad. It was like at 40% or something. I knew I had to do my videos today. I'm going to be on the road all day. And then it dawned on me the reason that it's not plugged in and the reason that it's at 40% is because I fell asleep waiting for Yo Mister to race. They delayed the races like an hour and a half because of this vicious storm that blew through. I didn't realize I don't know how close to the tornadoes are reporting in Kentucky that this weather system was, but it must have been a pretty vicious one because I think that Jason had told me this morning it ended up being an hour and a half delay. And I believe there were some people lost their lives in Kentucky over that tornado or tornadoes that have blown through there. So kind of an odd place. You always want to be somewhere where the weather's beautiful and somewhere where it's nice, but it always comes with a catch, right? It just seems like there's tornadoes or hurricanes or tsunamis or something everywhere. So although it's a little cold in the winter, not much on the tornado side in Northfield or Ontario. So I think I'm okay with the give and take. So that was last night. Yo Mister raced great. Got to the front and looked like he won pretty easily. I don't remember the final time, but he looked like he won pretty easily. And he'll start ascending the classes in Scioto right now. So a great job by Brett and Stacy all across the board yesterday. Brian's calling me to tell me that thing's canceled. We'll call him back in a second. Bet she's calling me to tell me it's delayed or canceled. Now today, 3-point blue chip, little temperature today is going to have to be scratched. It doesn't happen very often that we have to scratch our aged horses, but he'll miss today's race. Tenacious Hanover, just a first start back in 5 weeks, hoping for a good mile from him. I'm going to race Patrick de Perron, as I said in a video this morning, or last night, or yesterday, whenever it was. Patrick, it may very well be headed to Maine next week, which I don't have a problem with. I don't mind the scenario of big fish in a small pond when I can. Spitfire Overseas is racing this afternoon at the Meadows also. Pick to win. I'd love nothing more than to win with him. Host of others racing today, but for right now, and tomorrow and Monday, but for right now, good luck to all my partners. Today I got to call Ollie's coach back, see what he needed. I hope you guys have a great day wherever you are and a great weekend. I'll start your videos later on today. Take care.